Hello, hello. This is Revere Sky. So I want to talk about chemtrails today. I'm going to make it short and brief. Now, when you see people explaining chemtrails, they act clueless like it's a phenomenon and they don't know how it's happening, okay? But for a fact, the chemtrails that go across the sky are used mostly by drones. Like, nobody's in these planes that show up. Not only that, these planes that I observe are holographic, or they have a cloaking mechanism, and they show you them and then they don't show you them, you know. Not only that, this is not the only thing we have to worry about, seeing a plane flying across the sky, because sometimes you see the con or chemtrail, but you don't see the plane. Like there's no plane, but a trail is being formed across the sky. So there's more to it. I don't think they need humans to navigate and fly chemical across the sky. Not only that, they have found a way to dump the chemical in mass amounts. And how they dump the chemical in mass amounts, I don't know if they're using a spaceship or what, but they got the cloaking mechanism down packed. And all of a sudden, you just start seeing plethoras and plethoras and plethoras of this chemtrail form. Not only that, they're using it for more than one reason. They're using it so the sun cannot penetrate the earth. They're using it to depopulate. They're using it for engineering, for holographic engineering. They're using it for weather engineering. They're using it for war. They're using it for bio-war. And not only that, like, that's why it's important to grow your own food, save your seeds, plant your own food, store your own water, and all the above, as if we are starting from scratch, okay? This is definitely to depopulate, to also engineer weather. Now, by me being in California for 2 years now, and being able to observe the sky, being out in the weather every day, because that's my job, out in the weather, I noticed these last 3 months there have not been any chemtrails. So when I was observing this, I have to tie this into it. The alkaline water. The alkaline water used on a medicinal level is good. On a daily level, it's not so good. Like if you use alkaline water every day, it's not good, and I'm going to explain why. Alkaline water causes things to burn or to magnify themselves with the sun, like a what's it called? The magnifying glass. You know how it amplifies things. So alkaline water is very powerful if you do not use it in small amounts. Like, let's say you may drink a gallon 1 week, but all the rest of your water should be spring water. And I'm going to explain why. I had a video where I showed that how the sun penetrated the glass bottle and the alkaline water and started catching a fire. The fabric below the bottle started catching a fire. So my mom was like, well, if the sun amplified that bottle, but the alkaline water has like this rainbow hue to it, like this metallic like hue to it, as if it's trapping bands of light. So if it's trapping bands of light, that means that it's going to generate some form of heat if it has a conductor. So it made me think about it. I would notice that when it would be like cold in California or cloudy all the time, like it's this blanket that would just naturally form. Like this is not a chemtrail. They figured out how to have this blanket appear whenever they needed it. Like whenever the halo, the rainbow halo hits the sky, they figured out how to put this digital blanket above us. And I think it's due to the chemtrail, because without that chemical, the hologram, the third matrix, we have 2 matrices already, but the third matrix hologram, the man-made hologram, would not be able to work, or the man-made matrix would not be able to work without these raw materials being throughout the atmosphere. Like, I think they want it to be more digitized, like things walking around, and we think we see ghost aliens and stuff, but we actually don't. Like they want us to be walking through a stream of data, but it's going to be a stream of reflective light, and it's going to be digital, and something's actually going to be putting the images within the atmosphere around us, whether that's ground level, eye level, or in the sky level, okay? So let's get back to these chemtrails. So I noticed when I would drink too much alkaline water, and it would be cold a few days, and all of a sudden the sun want to come out and start beaming, and there's no chemtrails, my skin would absorb the sunlight differently. Like it would burn. It would burn compared to if I was just on a regular spring water diet. And I started adding up the 2, and then my mom, she's a Scorpio too, so she said, you know, if that water, if the sun did that to the water, what it's going to do to you? And I kept keeping that in the back of my head. I said, I'm glad you said it, because I already thought that. What the sun did to that water in that glass bottle is the same thing it'll do to me. So, these last 3 months in California, it's October the 2nd now, and for the last 3 months, I noticed there had not been chemtrails. So I said, oh, they letting the sun penetrate full force. They stopped. It's like a massive push. Let's imagine you got this blanket stopping the sun from penetrating. And it's stopping the sun from penetrating, and it's stopping the sun from penetrating. Then all of a sudden, you take away the shield that's blocking the force from coming through. And then all of a sudden you just let it come through. That is mass engineering, weather engineering destruction. Just imagine solar winds that could not come through, and all of a sudden you just open the gate and let them come through. Everything is going to spin out of control. And I kept saying it. I kept saying it. I said, oh, they done froze us up like an ice box for the last 6 months, the last 9 months. It was just bitter cold. Like, you would be at the beach, and it would bite. Like, it would hurt. Like, it didn't sink down to my bones. It just would hurt you at the surface. So, and it was like, you can feel it within your nerves. And people would be sick and stuff. And all of a sudden, they just completely stopped the chemtrails. And the heat just moved in too fast. Now, how does that work? When you just all of a sudden take a shield off something and let it flow. That's just like a river. You back the river up, and it stops it and slows it down. Then all of a sudden you just let the gate down, and the river has to catch back up with itself. It might just flood something. You know what I mean? It might just Somebody who had a drought might all of a sudden land might get wet. You know, it might have a flood somewhere. So that's the same as the sun that they blocked for the whole year, all the way from last fall. I mean, November 2016, all the way to March, April, May. Then all of a sudden, there's no more chemtrails. When you're taking pictures, there's no chemtrails. No chemtrails. No chemtrails. Do you know what that would do to an environment? Living on a solar system, living on an ecosystem, that heat wave is going to push in and cause disaster force. It's energetic. It pushes things. It absorbs in what it can absorb in, and then it pushes the rest. It pushed the clouds back. If you notice, on the West Coast, the sun pushes all the clouds out the way. And then when the sun sets, all that cold air comes in, and the clouds start coming in from the west and coming back inland. So just imagine you've been blanketing things, and you take the blanket away and let all that force come in. Like you're controlling the floodgates of the sun. You're controlling the solar gates of the sun. Not only that, you have to think the opposite. Remember, this is weather engineering. So, if the sun is not able to come in, where is the sun bouncing to? Where are they refracting the solar wind to go? It's going somewhere above us, but what is it doing? Because I assume, don't mean to get you off track. You can assume what you want to assume. But deep down, I believe that we are definitely in the firmament. So if the sun is refracting off of these metal particles and it's not penetrating through it, it's ricocheting, it's refracting and reflecting back to the sky. Okay? It's not coming down, so it got to go back up. So it's like the sun is fighting itself. So when the sun get a breather and actually get to do what it's supposed to be doing, there's chaos. And that chaos builds up, and things change. Do you see what I'm saying? And just imagine all the people that drink alkaline water, and all of a sudden the sun come out, and you're just miserable, and you feel different, and you get tight, and you feel like the sun is burning your skin and stuff. And then they talking about the sun give cancer, this, that, and another. But no, I'm telling y'all, the alkaline water is okay. But be mindful, alternate from spring to alkaline water. These chemtrails, if you have respiratory problems, if you have heart problems, if you're obese, if you have mucus in your endocrine system, these chemtrails will run you down through there. Okay, these chemtrails will take you out. They be having folks coughing. They be having folks with the dry cough. They be having people nose running. And the ocean water is just so polluted with it. It makes your fucking whole respiratory nose canal burn. Like literally it burns. Okay? Like salt water is not supposed to do that to your respiratory. And the thing about it, they've been doing the West Coast a lot longer than they've been doing the East Coast. For some reason, it's something about the West Coast. They do not want that sun over here. But then they said, you know what? We're going to stop it. We're going to stop it. And we're going to let the sun just take over and let the wind just flow, and it's going to cause disaster. Just imagine 9 months on the planet, it's cold, and all of a sudden you just stop that from happening, and you actually let the solar winds through. The solar wind's going to tear some shit up. The solar wind's going to take that Arctic and the Antarctic air, and they're going to start twisting. They're going to start fighting, and it's going to soon start catching up. Do you get what I'm saying? And you have to ask yourself, if the sun is not penetrating and coming through and touching the ground or the earth, where is it refracting back to? Where is it reflecting back to? Who are they sending a message to? It's like they're killing 10 birds with one stone. Do you get it? Depopulation, weather control, weather engineering, genocide, crop won't be able to harvest. The ecosystem won't run in its proper natural cycles. So it's just something to think about. And then they got all these questions like they're fucking clueless. Lizards, wake the fuck up. You're in this shit too. Your material vessel is in this fucking shit too. And even the ethereal beings, like you sit up here and you just watch and watch and watch. You're in this shit too, because if we leave your standard, your ethereal body don't even fucking matter no more, because you're gonna be the lowest of the low. You know how they say we're third dimensional, we're physical beings, we're in hell? Well, guess what, ethereals? If hell is gone, your shit is going to be hell. So it's time that we work together in some form of fashion. I know for a fact that sacrifices have to be made to keep the balls on the road, but at the same time, there has to be more to this. They're not just depopulizing America. Hell, they're fucking up the UK. They're fucking up Asia. They're fucking up everybody. And of course, it's high grade. These entities or whoever's doing this, these masterminds, know how to cloak. The chemtrail could go across the sky, but there's no plane. There's nothing there. And the one that pumped that smoke out, I mean, I swear it's just a spaceship out there pumping it out, pumping it out, pumping it out. It just starts. I mean, it hit the hills. Like, people be like, oh, come live in the hills. It's all about living in the hills. Oh, no, honey. The hills get it the worst. It hit the hills before it even make it down to the valley. You get what I'm saying? It hits the higher sea level areas before it even gets down to the valley. This shit is fucking ridiculous. And these people act so clueless, like they don't know if you pump chemtrails for a long time and keep an atmospheric blanket so that the sun cannot penetrate to the earth, then turn around and let the chemtrails dissolve and no more chemtrails, you're burning people up. And not only that, white people are catching hell. White Asians are catching hell. Like, it's doing more damage to white-skinned people than anybody else. It's not just us. So, how does this work? You have to detox these metals back out your body. And God forbid somebody piss on the floor. Do you know the piss don't even smell like piss no more? It smells like hard metals. It smells like iron and shit. People are literally pissing this shit back out. Right. So detox, detox, detox. Anything with live enzymes, chlorophyll, blood purifier, herbs that purify the blood. Basically, you have to poison yourself to get a poison back out your body. To get these heavy metals out your body, you're going to have to do the saunas, do the steam rooms, swim, detox, clean your colon, clean your blood, clean your organs, clean your endocrine system, and know like hell that a lot of people are going to drop like flies. Crops not going to grow. Animals are not going to thrive. Things are about to change drastically. They are playing with nature. They're playing with the cycles of it. And we as people are just sitting around looking at our phones, having sex like beasts, and nothing else. And yes, I got a right to say it because in a year span, I haven't had enough sex. Okay? Not like a natural person mating, like every period, you have a period in a month. I haven't had sex 12 times in a fucking year. So, it's you get what I'm saying? We are so going somewhere else. And I don't understand, as Americans, why don't we have more black chemists that can test the water, test the air, test everything around us, and create machines that can actually tell us what's going on. The fluoride in the water, there's still not a fluoride tester for us. This is ludicrous. And since this is ludicrous, every person that looked me in my face, every person that claimed they rich, this, that, and other, you're not my top priority, not whatsoever, because you're not utilizing your money. You can't even fucking use your money. You can't even invest in things that actually help protect our vessels. So when people be saying rich people are good, how? They're not using the money for protection. They can't even protect their motherfucking selves. The money is no good to them. As soon as they mention, oh, I'm about to create a fluoride tester, they pop up missing. Oh, we don't have to use oil and gas no more. These people pop up missing. They don't have any money anymore. So, take this as a learning lesson. It's time that we start detoxing on a level unfathomable. And stay out the hospital. Stay out the hospital. These people are there to do one thing and one thing only, and that's fucking genocide. Unearth the magic. The truth will definitely set you free. And that's the truth.